Welcome to another episode of I Can Do That. I'm David Lyle, your host, this time with Popular Woodworking. We are building a storage cabinet for all of your screws and nuts and bolts. We're using these containers that have lots of little dividers that you can change around that snap back, and the cool thing is that you can take these to the job and then bring them back, and so it keeps everything nice and tidy. And then we also put some storage in the lid with these plastic boxes that seem to accumulate everywhere, and I never know what to do with, and they don't fit together nicely. So here they are. They're Velcroed in. Close it up and keep the dust out while you're using your machinery, and you're good to go. So let's get started with this build. So I want to explain a couple things to you before we jump into making things. At the heart of this storage center are these plastic cases. We've already started using these in our shop because they have so many options to configure. And the nice thing is that they're quality plastic. And so we found these to be adequate for holding screws. We have two long sections in here, and then they come with these dividers that slip down into these channels, so you can kind of configure your spaces for different screws. We have this one loaded up, and it's just really handy. So we're gonna have 6 of these bins in here. And one of the cool things is in the lid that flips down on this, we're gonna sneak some of these cases in because frankly, I have a drawer of these and I don't know what to do with them. So I think putting them into the lid there will be a nice way to get them out of the way. So we're gonna start on this case. It has a bunch of rabbets and a bunch of dados, and that's gonna be all table saw work. So we're gonna jump into this. With all of our pieces ripped to their final width, we can start working on these rabbets. I've already kind of drawn them out so that you can see them, but this is the side and this is the top and bottom. And so this piece is gonna fit into a rabbet right here. Now, one thing to be conscious of as we move to the table saw and start cutting these is that your plywood is not exactly 3/4. So don't make any assumptions, measure it out and reference it properly and you'll be in good shape. So let's go knock out these rabbets. So if you're using a general purpose blade like we are, the top of it is not perfectly flat. Just take a chisel and gently, don't take too much off, scrape off the little high ridges that form from the multiple cuts. Now we're getting ready to cut the rabbet that will accept the back piece into the back of the cabinet. The way I'm doing this is I've left the blade height where it was for the other rabbet, and now I have marked so that the back panel can sit into this space. And so this is a 2-pass rabbet. Before we were nibbling away. And now this one will make one cut this way and then we'll set the board up and make a skinny pass this way. And so we'll knock out a lot of that material quickly. We're ready to make the second cut. I've set my fence and the height to the appropriate settings. And so you can see we're gonna come in this way. And the reason we're doing this is because this cutoff, this fall away, will land on this side of the blade and it won't be trapped between the blade. If we were to cut it this way, we'd have basically a missile coming at us between the blade and the fence. And so we're gonna make sure that we keep our pressure directly flat against this fence, so don't start pushing on there. You're pushing right against the fence and proceed slowly and you'll be in good shape. The last data we have on these top and bottom pieces is for this center divider. And so I've marked this out. as taking out this section and this section for the dado, and this will sit in here like this. And so I'm gonna run these over with the miter gauge again, and I'm gonna cut this outside line and then this outside line, and I'll nibble away the middle. And the blade is set at the same height we had for this one, so everything should be the same. So with our case kind of roughly sitting here together, we can start to visualize how these shelves are gonna sit in here. And so we basically need a dado on the 2 here, 2 here, and 2 down there, where these shelves can sit in here. Now to get this spacing correct, we are allowing 3 inches in each of these spaces. And if you come in with your tape, you can see that we're at right about 9.5. No, we're on, we're not about. This is 9.5 inches. And so with our 1/4 inch hardboard, that means we can measure up 3 inches here, 1/4 inch, 3 inches up here, 1/4 inch, and we arrive at our 9.5. So I'm going to run all these pieces at the same time because I'm gonna set my blade so that it will knock out this part of it, and then this part of it, and then we will flip it around and we'll be able to get the next cut. So we'll do this in 2 cuts to fill out that dado. It should be pretty simple. So I'm ready to make my first cut. I just wanted to remind you, we said 3 inches for our gap over here, but we have a 1/2 inch in the rabbet. So this fence is actually set at about 3.5. I just lined it up right with my cut there, or my pencil line there. And so I'm ready to make this first pass. Now that I got this frame tacked together, I'm gonna put this 1/4 inch skin on the front. Make sure everything's nice and square. I think I'm actually just gonna hit any little slight lip with the sander as I finish this. Let's put some glue on here. I don't want a ton of glue on here. I don't want a bunch of squeeze out. Now we can see that our edge is nice and flush up here. I'm a little heavy on this top side, and so I'm going to just take that down somehow. We have these sort of decorative hinges that we're gonna lay on here, and we'll do 3 of these across the bottom because there is gonna be a little bit of weight in this lid. And then a clasp for the top, and this will flip the other way, and this will become the bottom once we lay that out. All right, we got this on the wall. One thing that I had mentioned earlier, we went ahead and put the Velcro on here, and this is that really tough 3M industrial Velcro that is kind of hard, but it holds these packs in here while you flip it up. Check it out. We have plans for this down in the description. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.